Before we begin, a warning. This is not a story about a woman who needed saving. This is not a story about a man who swooped in at the right moment. This is a story about what happens when the most dangerous man in Osaka meets the one person on earth he cannot read, cannot control, and cannot stop thinking about. She was a stranger on a Miami sidewalk. He was 4 minutes away, and a little girl with a medical alert bracelet and her father's eyes was the only reason their worlds ever touched at all. Pay attention to the details. In this story, the details are everything. Miami in October is a contradiction. The calendar says autumn, the city says otherwise. Heat rises off the pavement of Brickell Avenue in waves thick enough to see, and the people moving through them have places to be and no patience for anything that slows them down. This is a city built on beautiful surfaces and dangerous foundations. Everyone here knows that. Everyone here has decided they can live with it. Reina Beaumont had been in Miami for 3 days. 3 days of conference badges and continental breakfasts and networking conversations she would forget by Tuesday. She was supposed to be buying shoes. She was standing outside a boutique on Brickell, iced coffee in one hand, staring at 2 pairs of sandals in a window display, when she heard the sound. 8 years in trauma medicine teaches your ears things your eyes haven't learned yet. You stop filtering. You start hearing everything. The frequency of distress, the specific register of a body hitting pavement, the way a crowd reacts to something wrong versus something merely surprising. Reina heard all 3 in the space of 1 second. She set down her coffee. She moved. The crowd had formed a circle. That useless, well-meaning circle that people make around emergencies when they want to feel present without getting involved. Reina moved through it without asking permission. She did not announce herself. She did not explain. She simply arrived at the center of the circle and knelt down. And something about the way she did it made everyone else take a step back without being told. The girl was small. 6 years old, she would learn later. She wore a white linen dress and shoes that cost more than Reina's first month of rent, and her dark hair had fallen across her face in a way that made her look peaceful. She was not peaceful. Unconscious, breathing shallow, skin clammy despite the October heat, and in her tiny hand a backpack covered in hand-embroidered cherry blossoms. Not a fall, a collapse. The difference mattered enormously. Reina found the medical alert bracelet immediately. Type 1 diabetic, emergency contact, a number with a Tokyo area code. And beneath the number, 2 Japanese characters she recognized. She had seen those characters before, in contexts she had never discussed with anyone. She filed that information somewhere deep and quiet, the way she had learned to file everything she was not supposed to know. Then she called the number. The phone rang. Once. Then a voice. Quiet, immediate, absolute. 1 word. Speak. That was all. 1 word, and Reina understood everything she needed to understand about the man on the other end of this call. That register, that particular combination of stillness and authority that had never needed volume and never would. She recognized it the way you recognize a language you grew up hearing but were never supposed to admit you knew. She told him her name. She told him about Hannah. She told him the girl was safe and conscious and not frightened. He did not ask if she was hurt. He did not ask what happened. He did not ask who she was or how she had gotten that number. He asked one question. Is she frightened? Reina looked at Hannah, sitting up now, holding her orange juice with both hands, watching Reina with large, serious eyes that were quietly trying to memorize her face. No, she is not frightened. 2 seconds of silence, the kind that isn't empty, the kind that is thinking. Then, stay with her. I'm 4 minutes away. The line went dead. 4 minutes. Reina sat down on the pavement next to Hannah, all the way down. Her conference sundress pooling around her, the Miami heat rising through the concrete, none of it mattering at all. They talked about stuffed animals in a shop window, about whether Hannah had seen the ocean yet, about miso soup with tofu cut into very small cubes, about mathematics being difficult and interesting at the same time. And somewhere in those 4 minutes, without ceremony or announcement, Hannah reached over and placed her small hand inside Reina's. Just like that, as if Reina's hand had always been there, waiting. The little girl looked up at her with serious, unhurried eyes. She said, "You have kind eyes. My papa says kind eyes are the rarest thing in the world. He says most people have eyes that want something. Yours don't want anything from me." Reina looked at this child and felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. The particular warmth of being seen accurately by someone with absolutely no agenda. She didn't hear the car arrive. She felt the crowd shift, the way a space shifts when something changes the air pressure without making a sound. Then the shadow fell across both of them, long, patient, still as architecture. She looked up. Kenji Tanaka was standing on the pavement above them. Perfectly tailored black suit. Miami October heat, not a drop of sweat visible. One hand loosely at his side, completely still. He was 36 years old, and he had the face of a man who had made every decision of consequence in his life in silence and had not regretted a single one. Sharp jaw, dark eyes that did exactly what his daughter had described, noticed things, everything, in order. He looked at her, and she had the specific sensation of being read. Not assessed, not evaluated, read. She looked back. She did not look away. Neither of them spoke first. He confirmed his daughter was stable. He stood. He extended his hand. "I am in your debt. Not thank you, not I owe you. I am in your debt." 4 words that meant something very specific in his world, and he said them like he meant every syllable. Reina stood without taking his hand to rise. Then she shook it, her grip steady, his steadier. Neither held a beat too long, neither let go too quickly. It was the handshake of 2 people who understood each other better than either intended to admit. She told him to make sure Hannah always carried her glucose tablets on her, not in the hotel room, on her body somewhere she could reach. She said it warmly, without agenda, without a single thing behind it except the truth. Then she crouched to Hannah's level, made a deal, a real deal, serious handshake and everything. Miami's a big city, baby. but anything is possible. She stood up. She picked up her iced coffee. She turned around. She walked away. She did not look back. Not once. Kenji Tanaka watched her go. He watched until she turned the corner and disappeared completely. His assistant said something quiet beside him. Kenji did not respond. He was still looking at the corner where she had been a moment ago. His daughter tugged his sleeve. "Papa, she has kind eyes, the kind you always talk about, the kind that don't want anything." He looked down at Hannah for a long moment, then back at the empty corner. Yes, she does. She came home to Chicago the way she always came home, quietly, through the back door of her own life, without announcement. She worked a 12-hour shift. She made red beans and rice. She called her mother. She went to sleep. She was walking to her car on Thursday morning, post-night shift tired, in the way that makes the world feel slightly sideways when she stopped. There was a white chrysanthemum on the hood of her car. Single stem, perfectly placed, pointing toward the driver's side door, like someone had set it down with great deliberateness. She knew what a white chrysanthemum meant. She had grown up in rooms where people did not explain their symbols. You learned them, or you didn't. And the learning was never gentle. In Japanese tradition, the white chrysanthemum meant loyalty. It meant remembrance. It meant, "I have not forgotten you, and I will not." She stood in the grey Chicago morning, in her scrubs and her worn sneakers, and looked at this flower for a long time. Then she looked at the parking lot around her, empty, in the specific way that follows someone who is very skilled at leaving without being seen go. She picked up the chrysanthemum, held it, thought about a little girl's hand in hers, thought about one word on a phone call, thought about a corner she had turned without looking back, and how apparently someone had watched her all the way around it. Then her phone rang. Something was wrong in Deja's voice. Tight, careful, like she had rehearsed the words many times and they still didn't fit right. She asked if Reina was alone. She said she needed to tell her something. About the practice, about the patients, about where they had been coming from. She said there was no good way to say it. Reina was already sitting on the hood of her car. She was looking at the white chrysanthemum in her hand. Her face was very still. Her voice, when it came, was very quiet. The quiet of someone who already knows the shape of what is coming and is simply waiting for the specific words to confirm it. How long, Deja? The longest pause of the episode. 2 years. 2 years! Every patient she believed had found her through desperation. Every man she had pulled back from the edge in her shadow surgical suite on the south side. Every life she had saved in the dark because she had been trained to save lives and had not yet found a reason to stop. All of it. Brokered, arranged, sold. By the person who had been sitting across from her at Sunday dinners for 26 years. She sat on the hood of her car for a long time after the call ended. The thing about Reina Beaumont, the thing that everyone who had ever underestimated her had fundamentally failed to understand, was that she did not break under weight. She had carried too much for too long to break now. What happened instead, when something truly enormous arrived, was a kind of clarification. The noise went quiet. What remained was the truth clean and cold, and the next correct move. She had 3 things to do: find out exactly who she had been saving, decide what to do about Deja, figure out who left the flower and what they wanted. She was thinking through these things when she noticed it. At the far edge of the parking lot, a black car, engine off, sitting with the specific stillness of a vehicle that had been there longer than it appeared. She looked at it directly, for a full 10 seconds. Then, without hurry, it pulled away from the curb. Kenji Tanaka had been in Chicago since Tuesday. He had not come for her. He told himself this very clearly. He had found out about the other version of Reina on the 2nd day, the version that existed between midnight and 4 in the morning, the version his organization had been using without his knowledge for 2 years. He needed to know if she had known. He watched her pick up the chrysanthemum. He watched her face when she held it. He watched her take the call. He watched the silence after. She had not known. He stayed until he saw her shoulders straighten, until her chin came up, until the stillness of decision settled over her face. Then he told his driver to go. He did not make the 3rd decision yet, but he did not pretend, not even to himself, that it wasn't already made. She did not know yet that all 3 answers led to the same man. He decided she was worth protecting, from the people who had been using her, from what was coming next, and from himself. Episode 2 drops next week. Subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. This is Curves and Cartels, and we are just getting started.